Hello, everyone. A very good evening. I hope you all are doing good. And my name is Momita, and I'm an artist. I do lots of paintings. I work with watercolors and acrylics and pastels. And today I will be taking you through a few basic techniques for watercolors. So, if you have just paper, watercolor paper, and a few brushes and some watercolor paint, then you will be able to follow me. So these are just the basic techniques of watercolor. So I will show you some of these techniques, and then we can try and do a very simple landscape painting. So if you want to do different kinds of watercolor paintings, everything will be based on these few basic techniques. So these are very simple and these are a lot of fun. So I hope you will enjoy them, and I'll go through all the materials that we need. I'm sure you can see my screen. So I have with me a cardboard. So any old piece of cardboard or anything that you have, even if you don't have that, if you have a table, just put your paper on the table. So my paper is watercolor paper. So the best thing about watercolor paper is that it's a little bit thick. It's thicker than usual paper. So the water doesn't make the paper fold a lot. So that's why we try and use watercolor paper. So if you use a watercolor paper, then your paintings will be even more beautiful, because watercolor paper can hold a lot of water. So when we do watercolors, we use a lot of water. So it's best to use watercolor paper. But if you don't have it at the moment, just try and use any thick paper that you may have. And later on, if you buy some watercolor paper, you can definitely practice on that. Then I also have with me some brushes. So I have some different brushes. So some things like these, some pointed brushes, some flat brushes. So any brush that you have, you can use it for today. And for sketching our landscape, we will use a pencil and eraser. Okay, so that's what we need. Also, if you have watercolor paints, so I'm using this. I have all my paints on this palette. So I will be using some of these paints. So any watercolor paint that you have. So if you don't have watercolor paints, you can just watch this session and maybe try it later. And the other important thing is to have some paper towels or a piece of cloth ready, because you will be dipping your brush a lot in water and then wiping it off. So you need that. And you need a mug of water. So any old cup or a glass that you have, just fill it up with water and you can do this. So the first thing that I have done is, you can see that I have taped my paper on all sides. So why did I do that? Because I am going to use a lot of water, and if I don't stick my paper onto the table or onto the board, what happens is that paper gets to becomes folded a lot of times. So that makes it difficult for me to paint. So I use this is called masking tape. So the masking tape helps you tape the paper down. So if you don't have the masking tape, what you can do is, today, for every piece of paper, we will be dividing it into two parts, and we will be doing two different techniques in each paper. So total we will be doing around 6 techniques. So if we do 6 techniques, you will have to divide your paper into 6 parts. So if you don't have the tape, what you can do is, you can just draw a line in the center and just make sure that your paper is divided into 2 boxes or maybe 4 boxes. So how many boxes you can fit in one sheet? So I am doing 2 boxes in each sheet. So I have with me a lot of sheets. So what I will do is, in each sheet, I am going to do 2 boxes, so that you can see 2 techniques in every sheet. Okay. So you can try and create a line. So the only thing that you have to keep in mind is that you can't get the 2 things together. So if you create a line like this, you have to keep the two areas separate. So you'll have to create a double line. So what I will do is, I have my masking tape. This is very easy. So what I will do is, I will put my masking tape here in the center. So what happens is, I get two parts, right? So these two parts are totally separate. So they're not getting joint anywhere. So if I do something here, if I paint with my brush here, the water or the paint will not come to this part. So that's what I want. So if you don't have the tape, what you do is make two lines so that this part is separate from the other part. Okay. So that's the first step. So once you do the first step, I will tell you what the first technique is going to be. So the first technique is very simple. This is what we call wet on dry. So this is what most of you use. So when you start doing watercolors, you do this a lot of times. So you generally use the paint right onto the dry paper. So this is called wet on dry. So what does that mean? That means the paper is dry and I'm going to put wet paint on the paper. So this is the most common technique that all the beginners use. So what do? Take any color, take any brush, take any color. Maybe I will take this bright red. So what I'm doing is, I'm wetting my brush in water. I'm wetting the paint a little bit, and then I will start to paint. So you can see that when my brush has water, I can go back and forth, right? But when my brush loses the water and becomes dry, it creates more rough textures. Do you see this? So the water is gone on this side. So it's creating more rough textures. So when you use wet on dry, you have full control. So you know whether
this.
Yeah, you can follow. If you have the watercolor paper and paint, you can follow this.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can just go back and forth and fill up this part. So what happens?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Ma'am, do we need to put some water before putting, like, painting?
No. So this is wet on dry. So you don't need to put any water on the paper first. So you just put the water on the paint and then you go back and forth. So this is the first technique, which is wet on dry. So this is just simply putting the paint on paper. This is the most simplest technique. Okay. Well, this is wet on dry one. So for the next one, we have to wet the paper first. Okay. So what do we do? If you have a flat brush, it's very convenient. Even if you don't have a flat brush, you can use any brush, but the best thing would be to use a flat brush. So what should I do? I will be dipping my brush in water and I will be going from the top back and forth. So I will be wetting the entire paper with water. So don't put too much water. Don't make a puddle on the paper. Just a little bit of water. Just get it wet. Just put it once. But don't put so much water that it kind of overflows and creates a big puddle. Okay? Just enough water. Then what do I do is, I put a little bit of paint on the wet paper. Okay? So let me take some other color. So it's not necessary that you have to use the same colors, guys. So if you want to use any other color, do that. Okay? So I'm going to use some blue. So this is my blue. So I'm just wetting the blue here on my brush. I'm taking some blue on my brush and I'm dropping it on the paper. So see, this is so interesting. It creates these beautiful blooms. Can you see this? So when you put water first and then you start putting in some other paint, some colors, then it will flow on its own. So wherever I am putting paint, it's beginning to flow into the paper. So this is called wet on wet. So when do we use wet on wet? We use wet on wet when we do a lot of times when we do skies. So suppose I have to do the sky and some clouds in the sky. I will put the water first on the paper, and then I will put some shades of blue, and it will leave some white spaces, and it will kind of flow into the paper, and it will create something like the clouds. So that's most of the time that we use wet on wet. So let's do the next two. Okay, so this one is called dry brushing. Okay, so dry brushing. This one is called dry brushing. So what is dry brushing? So dry brushing is when you use little bit of water and mostly your brush is very dry. Okay, so let me take a piece of let me take one brush. I'm using a flat brush. You can also use a pointed brush. So whatever brush you have, so what do you have to do is just take a paper towel or a piece of cloth. So dip your brush in water, then use any color. So I am going to use a green this time. So you can use any color. Just take some color, take some paint, and the excess paint and excess water you just blot onto the paper. So can you see this? So I am holding my brush on the paper. So don't keep rubbing it. That will just get rid of all the paint. So just take some paint on your brush and keep the bottom part of the paintbrush on the paper towel. So what happens is the extra water is getting soaked into the paper towel. So now I'm going to go back and forth with my brush. So see, I have little bit of water. So what happens is this creates textures. Okay. So for this technique, every time you take some paint, make sure that the paint is dry, not too much water. So if you create like a lot of a big puddle with a lot of water, then this technique will not work. So you have to take the paint and directly put it here. If you have water on your brush, if your brush is really wet, then you just soak it up on the paper towel and then put it. See, it creates these lines. So this is called dry brushing. So when do we use dry brushing? So we use dry brushing when we do textures, right? So when we do barks of trees, we use this. If we are doing a part where there is maybe, there is a bit of a farmland where there is hay and other things, then you can use something like this. So I'll use some more of my paint, maybe another color here, and just go like this. So I just want to show you that if you have too much water, it will not work. So just make sure that extra water is not on your brush. So you can create lovely textures. Even with a pointed brush. See, if you don't have a flat brush, even with a pointed brush, you can do this. So what you do is, let me take another color. So I have taken some magenta on my brush and I'm soaking up the water. And I'm doing this. Same thing. Okay. So the idea is to get some parts in the paper which is white and not cover up everything with the paint. So that's what this dry brushing technique is all about. Okay. The next one we are going to do is called dry on wet. Okay. Dry on wet. So let's see what this is like. So dry on wet. So we will put two colors this time. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, I know that wet on wet means that my paper will be wet first, right? So we will wet the paper, but this time not just with water but with paint. So I will put yellow and keep it quite watery. So do you see this? So my paper is going to be watery, so that I'm going to put another paint and it should be able to flow.
Ma'am, can
So
we do another color?
Yeah, you can do any other color. You don't need to do the same color. So when you put this color first, any color that you're putting first, this is dry on wet, what happens is you're putting the first layer and keeping it wet. So don't put a very dry brush here. So you wet the color, wet the paint, and then you put the color so that this page is quite wet. Okay. So now this is dry on wet. So our wet part is done. Now we have to do dry on wet. So what do? I am taking some other paint and this needs to be dry. So I'm taking some violet here. You can take any color. So this needs to be dry, mind you. So to keep it dry, I'm putting this on my paper towel so that it soaks up the extra water, right? So I just have paint and not too much water. Now with this extra water, I'm going to create lines. So what happens is, whatever you do, even if you don't create lines, maybe you create a bush, maybe here. So whatever you do with a dry brush on a wet, it stays there. It doesn't move around. So remember when we did wet on wet, everything moved around, right? Because there was so much water. But we are not putting wet on wet. We are putting dry on wet. So what happens is, when you put dry on wet, it stays there. But what happens is the edges become a little bit fuzzy. So if you are going to do something like that, maybe you want to do a feather or anything that the sides should be fuzzy, you can do that with dry on wet. So let's do the next two, okay? So this one is called a graded wash. So what's a graded wash? A graded wash means going from dark to light. So you must have done some, if you have done some sketching, you know that we go from dark to light with our pencils, right? So this is exactly a very similar technique. So what do we do is, we go from dark to light. And how do we do that? So we put water first. So let me put, so this is again wet on wet. So we put water and then the paint. So you go with the water from left to right or top to bottom. Okay, just wet the paper. So just wet the paper. Then what I will do is, I'm taking some paint. This is an orange. So I'll start with the orange on the top. Okay. So go left to right. And I will not take fresh paint every time I paint. So I'll start with the darkest color on the top and then gradually go with my brush. So what will happen is, after some time, my brush is going to finish all the color that it has, right? So it will finish all the paint. So as I keep going down and down and down, I'm losing all the paint in the brush and it becomes dark to light. Can you see this? So it becomes dark to light. So if I didn't use the water on the paper first, I would have a lot of problem doing this. So that's why it's best to put water first. Okay, so let's now move on to the last one. Okay, so this is called this is a little bit of a difficult name. It's called a variegated wash. Variegated wash, okay? VARIEGATED, okay? Variegated wash. So this means that you put more than one colors and you let the colors mix onto each other, okay? So what do? I will put some green paint. So use any color that you like, okay?
Ma'am, can you see my artwork? I did a rainbow.
Yeah, Arna, it's beautiful. So let's do the next one, okay? For variegated wash, I'm going to use some green and go back and forth, okay? So keep the page wet. So when we are doing the variegated wash, we want to keep the page wet. So this is like the other techniques where we put wet on wet. So just keep the page wet with the paint. So this is green and I'm keeping this entirely wet. So while this is wet, I'm going to put some more paint into this, okay? So let me put this bright red.
Mom, I have a question. Do we just do the paper wet first? And can I use red?
Can you use what?
Red color.
Red? Yeah, you can use red color. Any color you can use it.
Ma'am, can we just keep like our paper water first and then coloring?
Yeah, so put any light color in the background and make it watery, and then you put the darker color, okay? So I am putting green, and on top of that I am adding my red. I can also add some blue, so let me add some blue here. So remember this one we did dry on wet, right? So dry on wet was very similar, but what is different is dry on wet we use the dry paint, right? So it did not spread too much. But see, we are using wet paint on wet paper. So this, what happens is everything starts to mix. So if you put one layer and then you go with another color, it will start to mix on its own. So that looks very beautiful. So you can use different colors. See, I'm using lots of different colors, and they will all, if your paper is wet, it will mix. So my paper here and the bottom is getting dry. So if I put my color, will it blend? No, it is not blending. So you have to keep your paper wet. So as soon as you put the background layer, then you put the next layer, okay? Let's quickly do a very simple landscape, okay? Using some of these techniques, okay? So I'm not taping it down. Just using my brush and going to paint this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sky and some little bits of plants and mountains. So in the page, just keep, okay, I'll do this vertically, okay? So I hope you can see my page. I'm doing this vertically. So what will I do? I will leave a little bit of sky on the top, and then I'll draw a mountain. So this is one layer of mountain. Then this is another layer of mountain, and then a third layer of mountain. So you can do 2 or 3 layers of mountains, okay? So once you do 3 layers of mountains, just with your pencil, so it doesn't have to look exactly like mine. It can be a random mountain, okay? Just do 3 layers of mountains. So what should we use? So we will start, so in watercolors, remember that we start from the top and go to the bottom, okay? Why do we do that? Because if you put paint in the bottom and then you try to paint the top, what happens is your hand comes in the way, right? So you might damage this bottom section. So you don't do that. Try and work from the top to the bottom.
Ma'am,
Also,
yes. We need a page.
yeah, use a new page, okay? Use a new page. Yeah.
I used the new page.
Okay,
just
and you
followed.
made the mountains? Okay, very good. Very good. So made the mountains, everyone. So let's start putting some color on the sky. Okay, so this is the top, right? This is sky. Also remember one more thing, you have to go from light to dark. So in watercolor, we use the lightest color first and then we go to the darkest, okay? So what should we do? We will put some water. So just put some water only up to the top of the mountain, okay? Don't wet the entire page. Just put the water up to the top of the mountain, okay? So wet the page. Then with your glue, just take some glue.
We have to just write with the pencil first the mountain and then color it.
Yes, yes. So you have to just make the mountain with the pencil and then we will color it, okay? So once you put water on the top, we are going to make the sky. So we are doing which technique? This is wet on wet, right? Like this one. Remember? So we are going to do the sky. So we are putting small little dashes of blue.
Ma'am, I actually covered a little bit more than yours in blue.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's not a problem. So if you keep some whites, it will look like some clouds. Otherwise, it's fine. If you go with the blue on the entire sky, that's also fine. Okay. So that's the sky. That's wet on wet. White with some blue. Okay. Now what should we do? We will go with another layer. So we are going to do the mountains. Okay. So for the mountains, we will go from light to dark. So let's take a pointed brush. So if you have a pointed brush, it's easier because you will be going up and down, right? So you want this to be very, you want to have a pointed brush so that you can do this. So how will you do this? We will go from a light purple to a dark purple, or if you want a light green to a dark green. Okay, so we will make this mountain. So just waiting for a second for the sky to dry. Okay, let's just wait for 2 minutes or 2 seconds, just a little bit for the sky to dry very quickly. So my paper has dried. So I will go with, remember, now this mountain will be very light to dark. Okay. So what should I do? I'll take some purple and I'll keep it very light.
Ma'am, can I do light green to dark?
Yeah, you can do light green to dark green also. Okay. So I'm doing purple. So I'm going to go with a light purple. Okay. So the first mountain is very light. So what do we have to remember when we do a landscape? We have to remember that everything that's far away is always lighter in color, okay? Because it's so far away that you always see a very, very light shade. It's hazy in the distance, right? When you look at mountains in the distance, they look kind of blue and purple and gray, right? Because they're hazy. So it will be light. So the first mountain will be the lightest shade of purple or gray or green, whichever color you're using. Just make it very light. The next mountain will be slightly darker. See this? So I'm going to put, so this is all wet on dry. So I don't want to put wet on wet because wet on wet is a little bit more messy, right? It kind of makes you lose control. So we don't want that. We want to have control when we are doing the mountains. So we are going with a slightly darker layer of purple, okay? So this layer should be slightly darker than the first layer, okay? Remember that. Okay. So this is my next layer. Now my third layer will be even darker. So I'm going with even darker layer of purple. So if your purple is not darker enough, what you can do is you can always mix a little bit of blue to make it darker. So even if you're using green, you can mix a little bit of blue to make it darker, okay? So when we go darker, we try and mix something like a blue. So don't use black, okay? Remember not to use black. Black is a very powerful color. So if you use black, your painting will not look vibrant anymore. It will not look that colorful. It will become more gray and dull. So try and avoid using black. Yeah, sorry, do you have a question?
No, ma'am, actually, when I was doing an acrylic painting, ma'am, I actually learned this, ma'am. I tried to make the purple more darker with black, ma'am, when I was doing a painting, and then it completely became black, ma'am.
Yeah, so it's very difficult to handle that black. So we try not to use black in our painting. So try and avoid using black. So unless you have to do something like, someone's hair or maybe a little bit of someone's eyes, don't use the black, okay? That's not a great idea. So now all these mountains are done, right? So light to dark. So I will do just one more addition to this painting. Okay, so let's move on, okay? So let this dry. So if you see this part, the top two mountains have dried, then you're ready for this. If it hasn't dried, don't rush and don't do this right now, okay? Just wait and watch. You can do it later. So what did I do? I mixed more blue into my purple and I made it really, really dark. See this? This is really, really dark. So I will be making two trees here, okay? So I haven't drawn these trees with my pencil. I'm going like inverted V shapes. Do you see this? So you just have to do inverted V shapes. And make it touch the first layer. See this? So this is one tree. And I will do one more tree. Okay.
Ma'am, which color is that?
So this is blue and purple mixed together so that it's very dark purple. Okay. So you can mix more of your blue and create a darker purple for this. So I'm going to do two trees. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can we use black for the trees?
No, don't use black. If you can't get it very dark, use a blue maybe, okay? So it's not a great idea to use black in watercolors because it makes our painting more dull. So use a blue maybe, okay? You can mix the blue with your purple to get it dark, okay?
Yes.
So this is the darkest, right? So this is the darkest layer till now. So once this bottom layer has dried, I will make this as dark as the trees, okay? So just not the entire mountain here, just a little bit which is close to me. So what is happening? The part that is close to me is always the darkest, right? So this part which is close to me is darkest because I am standing close to this part, so I can see the darkest. And gradually the mountains are moving away from me, so they should be more and more light.
Momita. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. It was my pleasure.